Today's game features Soulkey versus Last. Now, I actually saw this a couple days ago as I was just kind of sifting through YouTube. And as I was watching this, I was thinking, oh my god, I have to cast this game because Soulkey is playing out of his mind. This is truly one of the best Zerg versus Terran games I've ever seen from a Zerg player. So, lots of cool stuff here. I cannot wait to cast this game. It is so cool. So this is Soulkey versus Last. This is from Soulkey's live stream. It's from his YouTube, actually. You can find the original VOD on his YouTube. And I guess they were just scrimming a lot. In general, Soulkey's been playing a lot of ZVT recently. Been playing a lot versus Last. Been playing a lot versus Flash as well. So definitely getting really good at this matchup. Guess trying to wrestle that title back from Larva as being the best ZVTer. In any case, looks like we're going to see a very standard 12 hatch opening. Going to be very standard for Soulkey. And it's just going to lead us into a very decent mid-game. We're on Circuit Breaker, so one of the things we always have to think about on Circuit Breaker is how do we split the map? Because if we're splitting the map vertically, it's a lot more challenging to hold than if you are actually splitting the map horizontally. The reason for that is just because you get that easy low ground base. If you split the map horizontally, you kind of get both of the top areas in the top left and the top right, and then you kind of have that low ground base, which is a lot more naturally defended by your other bases. But if you have to split vertically, it becomes a lot more difficult. So 12 hatch going down, drone scout going out across the map. Looks like it might be going across the map. Oh, never mind. It looks like it's going to be going to top right. Just took a funny path there for a second. And the real question is, how does Soulkey really get into the mid-late game? We've been seeing a lot more that Terran players have been preferring to go for that 1-1-1 build, especially Flash. They really just like putting the pressure on Zerg early on, forcing them to kind of deviate from the standard mutilating, have to go into a couple of Hydras before they do anything. It really just creates a lot of stress and strain on the Zerg player to kind of deviate from their normal pathway and kind of find a better way to approach the mid game. But it looks like, at least for now, Last may not be doing that. We can't really tell for sure until we see this command center go down. If the command center goes down, there's definitely no gas being built, so he's in good shape. And there goes the CC. So it's going to be a pretty standard opening from Last. Going to be going for that 1-Rax fast expand. Meanwhile, behind that, Soulkey is going to be going for the 3-hatch opening. What I think is really interesting, though, if you look at the pathway of the second Overlord, because Soulkey wasn't really sure where Last was with his initial scout, he decided to go ahead and send that Overlord down to his natural just to be careful of a bunker rush. And I think that's one of those minor things that really adds up to quite a lot. If you can consistently come up with ideas like that and realize when you're in danger and kind of account for every single possibility, it just makes such a difference. And Soulkey, combined with like those really crisp mechanics that he has, it's really nice to see the way he plays it out. This SCV looks like it might be going down. Okay, I guess it gets away. Oh, it didn't try to focus fire that with the drone. That's interesting. So it looks like the SCV is good. Oh, never mind. I lied. The SCV is going to die. And we're just going to be going into a standard game. This is, of course, really nice anytime you can pick off the SCV, especially if you can pick it off this early in the game. It kind of limits the options for Terrans. Now Soulkey's kind of thinking along the lines of what happens if Last does like a little marine poke. My units weren't, or my Overlord wasn't quite in position to get a good look, so he builds a second, an extra set of lings and just kind of guards his front in case there's a small poke with, 4 or 5 Marines. So very well done by Soulkey, just again accounting for all those options. Gonna be scouting out across the map, trying to pick off any follow-up SCV scouts. Behind this, going for pretty standard lair type play, just going to be pumping tons of drones during this downtime and getting an idea of what Last is doing at the front. Immediate Spire, so definitely not going to be trying any kind of crazy lurker shenanigans. Although honestly, if you want to go for lurkers immediately, you kind of have to drop it down at 50% lair. In any case, he is going to be building up again, just powering it super hard in these drones, and really kind of wondering what Last is going to be doing behind this, because that's always the question you ask yourself as a Zerg player: is what is my turn opponent doing at this point in time? Are they going for that 5 racks? Are they just sticking to 2 racks and like ultra fast teching? You really have to wonder what the actual build is coming behind this, and to some degree you can kind of sniff it out based on what time the turn moves out, but it's also just generally difficult to get a good sense until you have those mutalists out. Surprisingly, it looks like Last didn't send out another scout at all, so at this point in time, Soulkey kind of just has full map control. He has full information. He can prevent Last from actually really seeing or knowing anything about what he's doing right now, although there's nothing tricky about it. It's just one of those minor good plays that he can do. So he's getting ready to build the Mutalists immediately. Looks like the Mutalists are going to be coming out. There's a couple of Zerglings over there as Last starts to poke out, but not surprising to see this move out this quickly. And a drone already going up to make that 3rd base, so very quick play by Soulkey. You can tell that this build has just been absolutely perfectly executed so far. He's going to have enough money for his 3rd base. He's going to be able to get all 12 or 11 mutas rather very quickly. Plus he's got the Hydrogen coming out. So this has just been masterfully executed by Soulkey. If you ever want to know how to do a standard ZVT opening, just watch this game over and over and over. Absolutely excellent. So here come the Mutalists. The Mutalists are basically just going to camp this double bridge and the high ground area because he doesn't want Last to move out of his base. And with this particular setup, you can actually keep the turret from moving out for quite a long time just by holding position on the bridge and picking things off as they try to come across in a single file line. But Last actually doing a really good job of clumping up his units. This is actually very difficult to pick off units in the way that Last has actually done this. So gonna bring in a couple of Zerglings to tank some damage. Lost one of his mutas, but overall managed to delay this quite a bit. Still though, Last managing to finally push out of his natural now. This is a big scary moment for Soulkey because Soulkey's got to get those Hydralisks over there to his 3rd base or he can just straight up lose the game right now. Got to get the Hydralisks over there to the ramp so he can block it. And meanwhile, he's just going to try to delay it for as long as possible with these Mutalists. This is a very dangerous situation at the moment, but so far doing a really good damage, being able to pick off a few Marines here and there. He's going to try to get those Hydralisks over there to the high ground. Luckily, hopefully, his Lurker upgrade is well on the way as well, so should be in good shape. And the Lurker block is there. This is held. So, huge sigh of relief for Soulkey right now. But this is a second group of Marine Medic going to be joining up the first force. And that is going to create a pretty scary force, honestly. It's going to be actually very strong. Actually, I take that back. I guess this is still the initial force. Oh, no, here comes the second force. So the second force coming in from behind. Not much that Soulkey can do at the moment. He's trying to make sure these Lurkers get up. And, oh my gosh, it looks like Last might have actually broken up. One more Lurker still stands. Is it going to go down? Looks like it survives for now. And the high ground is held. But with these reinforcements coming in, a one single scan is going to be able to run up here and easily kill this off. This is definitely some crunch time for Soulkey right now. You can tell he's definitely paying a lot of attention to these Mutalists, trying to make sure that he is very prepared as soon as these units come in. Here come the Hydralisks come in for the block, but they're not going to be able to get there in time. And the Stem running up the map, going to be able to snipe that one Lurker. Going to be able to get up onto this high ground. The Lings are a little bit too late. Lots of Mutos have already gone down as well. This is pretty bad for Soulkey, but it looks like he might have enough units to actually clean this up. This is a pain to clean up, though. With just Mutaling Lurker, it can be very difficult, but it looks like the Mutalists are going to be enough. They're going to be able to clean up the rest of this. And Soulkey has held this 3rd base by the bare skin of his teeth. Wow. Behind this, we're going to see the tech up to Hive. Very smart play. Just, again, Soulkey just executes this build absolutely perfect. It's actually insane how on top of everything Soulkey is right now. So he's got his hive coming, and he's going to be able to have that defiler tech for defending his 4th base. His 3rd base gas is already up and running, and it looks like he might go ahead and get ready to get a 4th base coming out pretty soon, because he's held the initial pressure. Now he's just really looking for, is the pressure going to continue, or is my opponent going to be switching into that mech? And so far it looks like a little bit more pressure is going to be coming out across the map, but Soulkey's actually looking to maybe take it head on. He's got a couple of lurkers in that subgroup. Instead of leaving them back home to defend, going to be using a much more mobile force to just kind of attack. Gotta get the lurkers back up. This is probably the science vessel timing now, so I would definitely expect to see a few Scourge coming out from Soulkey as well, just to defend against this. Gonna go ahead and stack the lurkers up over by his 3rd base to make sure that it's a lot harder to irradiate them. And here comes the big push. Got 2 science vessels. Wow. So that's a lot of stuff so far, but looks like the lurker numbers are gonna be enough for now. Gonna be able to hold onto the bridge. And it looks like Last is going to switch his focus. He sees that Soulkey's well defended. The Nidus Canal isn't up yet, so he's just going to go ahead and posture over there at the 3rd base. And look at this. This is so smart by Soulkey. He immediately starts pushing out down below to try to pick off any reinforcements and any potential vultures that might be laying mines. Behind this, he's also spreading out Scourge, trying to pick off any science vessels that might be coming to stop this. This is so smart. Really cool play by Soulkey. Just knowing that he has enough control over there by his 3rd base with those lurkers that he can get away with this sort of counterattack without getting completely demolished. Here come the science vessels, though. Unfortunately, he wasn't quite on top of sniping those. But in any case, he managed to do enough damage, and this aggressive play has allowed him to take a 4th base behind this without ever really turtling super hard. And Last hasn't really been able to put any pressure on him. So this is really awesome play to see from Soulkey. He's got the defilers up now. He's got the Nidus Canal. He's actually going to be moving all of his lurkers down here to the low ground. So you can tell he's incredibly confident right now. And there's not a whole lot that can be done. Lurkers are going to burrow. And this is really good situation for Soulkey right now. He's got that 4th base up. He wants to make sure he doesn't get those lurkers sniped by an irradiate, so he's keeping the Mutalisk and the Scourge on active duty, keeping them moving. And oh my gosh, it's just insane. He's got double upgrades going. He's got all of his tech up. The precision from Soulkey is just out of this world right now. Gonna be able to transfer over a couple more lurkers, so it's unlikely that the space down here is gonna get broken. I don't think that Last has added on Firebats. No, it looks like he's gonna be going for the faster mech transition. Here comes the Dark Storm, gonna be able to save the space for now. Potential for Last to have run up that ramp and just kind of YOLO'd it, but instead he's gonna take the safer route. He's just going to use the map control that he's gained by having this force out on the map to go ahead and start laying mines. But Soulkey is not going to have any of it. Again, just counterattacking relentlessly, stopping these mines from really getting down and gaining full center map control. Going to be coming down into the 4th base, start killing off a couple of SCVs. This is beautiful play by Soulkey, just so aggressive. He needs to be careful over there by his 4th base, though, because he didn't really send any additional lings, so he needs to make sure that he has enough energy that he can actually continue casting the Dark Swarms. But this is just such beautiful play. Look at how Soulkey has managed to actually hold on to the rest of his Mutalisks for so long in the game, and they've been able to do so much extra damage. Couple of Scourge gonna be able to snipe one of the science vessels, so that's a nice little win. But at this point in time, this is all really just to give some map control for Soulkey. He's gonna be able to get his 4th base up, and he's kind of completely neutered what is normally the death blow to Zerg, which is just camping that 4th base while putting tons and tons of mines around the map. And then by the time that Zerg's actually able to do anything at all, the game's pretty much over, because there's so many tanks out on the map, there's so many missile turrets that Zerg can't really do a whole lot. But this has been really nice. It looks like he's going to try to push out, try to push back against this force. Not sure if this is the best move, because Last does still have quite a bit, but again, it's all just a smokescreen for these expansions. Now putting down his expansions, up there at the 11 o'clock and the 1 o'clock positions. Just going to start expanding widely across the map and getting more and more value out of being out in the center of the map with his units like this instead of just defending turtle style. So really cool stuff. Actually even going to be taking this 12 o'clock base as well, so there's tons of bases going down. He's actually going to push out once again, but this might be a little bit too aggressive. Going to push out here. Doesn't actually have a swarm, so he's going to have to pull back for right now. Might have been a bit of a small mistake from Soulkey, but either way, he's in still a fantastic position. The gas count is starting to slowly go up quite a bit, which is very good for a Zerg player. You definitely want to be able to bank a lot of gas so that you can go into those big ultraless switches, into those big mutalist switches later on in the game. But Last is kind of, along with Flash, Last is kind of nailed this transition in a mech. It's really hard to catch him off guard these days, but Soulkey is doing a fantastic job of just kind of leveraging his economic advantage, just being out on the map, being very aggressive, and the result is that Last really can't do the sort of control style that he typically prefers, and it's definitely showing for Soulkey. He's got up to 5 bases up. He's gonna have 6-7 bases soon. And on top of that, he's got Overlord speed now. He's probably going to have drops pretty soon. Ultras are going to be popping out. +3/+3, and Adrenal Glands is going to be out fairly soon as well. So, all things considered, this is an unbelievable situation for Soulkey right now. He's got so many hatcheries, and it's probably going to be adding on more fairly soon. Looks like he's going to be going for a few tactical drops before he gets too heavily invested into the Ultralists. I think that's a very wise choice. Something that Jadon kind of introduced was a style where you just kind of, instead of going straight for the Ultralist and just trying to ram down your opponent's throat, so you go for a few of these tactical drops where you go with a couple Lings, a Defiler, and 2 Lurkers. You kind of drop at some of these exterior bases, and you can shut down the mineral line for quite a long time, especially since you can also consume those Overlords as well. So really cool stuff coming out from Soulkey. Gonna be able to sneak around the small group of Marines, but I think that Last may have seen that. A couple Vultures really being annoying over here. I think Soulkey should be able to clean this up. What are these missile turrets doing here? What? What? Are you kidding me? Wow, Last so prepared for just about anything. Gonna be able to actually defend this pretty easily. Those Vultures still being very, very annoying, but the damage is still done by Soulkey. Managed to kill off quite a few workers. Wasn't able to kill off those science vessels, unfortunately, but he's opened up an avenue for attack later on while still securing all these other bases with these Sunkens. So, again, it's just this outward pressure to secure map control so that he can get extra bases. Like, it's just beautiful, flawless play right now. Looks like we're at +3 attack, +3 care base. It's coming. I believe that's what I just saw. In the meantime, just making tons of drones at these other bases. Going to be droning up really hard while just continuing to mass lots of Lings, lots of Lurkers, and Defilers. There's not a whole lot that can actually be done right now for Last. Last really has to spend a lot of time. Ooh, I actually hurt one of those Defilers going down. But Last has to be spending a lot of time right now just cleaning up these drops, just making sure that they don't do any serious damage. Soulkey has done a fantastic job of just keeping the pressure on, keeping Last from having everything on his terms. I'm surprised that Last hasn't gone for any sort of drops, but I suppose it's not too bad. And here comes the big mech push, though. When you have a mech push pushing down your front door like this, it becomes so difficult to hold. But he does have a couple Lurkers underneath those Darkstorm right at the double bridge. And oh, the big Queen transition. So we're definitely going to be seeing lots of Queens come in. That's going to allow him to break this tank line. But I'm a little bit worried that he perhaps won't have quite enough to actually break through here, because it doesn't do any good to just trade off the tanks for Queens. You really have to be able to do something with that. And that could definitely be a difficult situation. But right now, he's just got to survive. The queens are out now, and I think that Last probably suspects this. This is a really cute play, just going for a couple of Ling bombs. Gonna be able to clean up a couple of these tanks, but Mech is just so strong. Oh my god, that's so many queens. But this is kind of like go time for the Terran player. Once Terran realizes that, oh hey, Zerg really hasn't built anything with gas yet, looks like they're going to be going for some sort of queen play. So this is the time when Terran just starts pushing in really, really hard. And you're going to see that basically Last is going to start unsieging everything and just slowly pushing into this area, trying to get as much done as possible. But again, this one lurker underneath the swarm can delay this for almost indefinitely. Honestly, actually, this is a little bit dangerous for Soulkey right now. I think if you try to do this in your own game, I don't think this would ever work, because the Terran player would literally just unsiege everything and walk past your one lurker. But because this is a pro game, I feel like to some degree Last is respecting Soulkey a little bit more. But here come the Ultralists, so I guess it's not as dangerous as it could be. If you try to unsiege and walk past that, suddenly your entire army is underneath a Dark Storm against the Ultra Ling, and it's just very difficult to deal with. So this is a smart play overall. I like also keeping this one Overlord over here by the Defiler. It allows you to kind of lift up that Defiler if it starts to get in trouble. Basically, he's just going to keep this never-ending swarm right here, keep Last from ever pushing in while he banks up energy on those queens. And it's actually really nice how he's transitioned in this late game. He's got all those components. He's got the Defiler. He's got the Defilers. He's got the Lings and the Ultras all fully upgraded, as well as the Overlord drops. And on top of that, he's going to have the queens to actually break this tank line. But is it time? It looks like it's going to be time. The queens are moving out. And this is going to be go time for him. He's sending out a couple Overlords. This is not really a drop. This is just to scout out, see what's on the map. It's a very smart idea in this later stage of the game. It's a lot easier to send out a couple Overlords than it is a couple Lings, especially if you know your opponent's going for more of a mine defense in the center of the map. You can go ahead and do that. It looks like the queens are going to be moving out right now. Going to start doing the initial snipes of these units. Sends in a couple units to just go ahead and suicide early on. But Last, very quick on the trigger, gonna start irradiating all these queens. And honestly, that wasn't a great trade for Soulkey. Soulkey managed to clean up some of this pressure, but he lost a lot of queens in the process. And considering how much time it takes for a new queen to bank up enough energy for these spawn broodlings, it is a little bit devastating for him. But the second wave of queens doing good damage, and this might allow him to actually break through the center of the map. He's starting to send lots of units out. Gonna have the macro on crazy autopilot right now. Actually gonna be adding on even more hatcheries as well. So just absolute insanity. Oh my god. So many units coming out, and he's actually found a hole in Last's armor. Gonna be able to push down into this third base, into this fourth base, and just keep Last busy for right now. Even a single Ling in the mineral line can cause absolute devastation. In the meantime, just continuing to mass lots of Ling Ultra, trying to break the center of the map, and it looks like he may have actually done it. There's so much Zerg streaming out across the map. He's broken the 9 o'clock base. Looks like the 3 o'clock base is up as well, but that is not long for this world, especially with these Overlord drops coming in. So just, oh my gosh, Soulkey suddenly bursting into action with that queen play. And now that he's maxed and has all of these bases money, he can honestly just continue to send all of these units over and over and over. And he's got the bank to continue doing this. This isn't really bad for him by any means at all. Gonna be able to try to drop on top of these Overlords, but these couple of Marines here actually causing so much problems for Soulkey. However, it did open up the third base swarm. Gonna be able to pick off that CC, or at least force it to lift. And now the map control is just purely in Soulkey's favor. Gonna be able to drop over here by this mineral only base. Gonna start annoying that as well. Also gonna drop on the high ground as well. Just all over the place. And behind this, the queens are gaining more energy. So Soulkey is going to be able to break the next push that comes as well. Now that he's got this full maxed army, he's got tons of units. And another gigantic stream of units moving out across the map. this one Defiler just being really annoying with the plagues. And that's actually going to be pretty devastating for last. Soulkey's probably going to be able to clean that up. The force down in the bottom left-hand corner looks like it was finally cleaned up. Didn't do a whole lot of damage, but did manage to trade for a couple of units. Did manage to eliminate the mine lines, and it looks like at this point, Soulkey is just completely out multitasking his opponent. He's going pure god mode, and there's nothing that Last can really do about it. Last is trying desperately to just kind of stabilize and absorb this blow, try to run Soulkey out of money. But Soulkey has been doing a really fantastic job. The one thing that I do wonder about, okay, good, was he needs to start looking towards those 3 and 9 o'clock bases. It looks like that's immediately what he does right now. Because this kind of endless push will only last so long. It's very, very strong, but oh my god, there's so many. Look at the mini-map! Look at the mini-map, dude! Going a full campaign Zerg here. Just completely annihilating everything in his path. This is just absolutely insane. Oh my god. So many units pouring into that third base right now. The mines are going to be able to clean this up. The SimCity from last is really, really good, but Soulkey is again maxed out. He's just continuing to make units and pouring them across the map. It is just insane how much stuff he has. Rebuilt a couple of those queens to make sure that he can continue the pressure. But, oh my gosh, it's so insane. He's got so many of these Zerglings just flooding out across the map. So many hatcheries producing units right now. And Last just can't keep up. He's trying his best to just irradiate whatever he can, kind of gain this map control. But he's starting to fall behind, and losing these 3 and 9 o'clock positions can definitely be the nail in the coffin for him. Soulkey is just all over the place, and god, look at that force. It's just insane. Just units pouring out across the map over and over and over. And with these 5 hatcheries up in the top right, as well as several down in the main as well, this is just, it's become too devastating. Tons of Ultraling moving through right here. There aren't enough tanks over here to really defend. This is going to start breaking the third base up pretty hard, and I think this might just be the end for Last. I think we're definitely going to see a GG soon, unless there's some god tier mine hits. There's just no way. Oh my gosh, that one Ling soaking up 5 or 6 spider mines, absolutely insane. Looks like the science vessels are going to go on the hunt for the queens, maybe get a couple drones, but Burrow is up, and Soulkey is onto this. He's moving his queens out of the way. He's got the Scourge over there to defend. He's going to be able to clean up the remainder of these science vessels, and that's really just a desperation attempt from Last. Last is in dire straits at this point in time, down to only 3 mining bases, I believe. 3, maybe 4, but against the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5 mining bases of Soulkey, full economy, and 3,000 bank and max supply. It's going to be difficult for Last right now. I imagine he's probably struggling down by about 120, maybe even down to 100 supply. This next trade may just cause him to quit the game entirely. Great mind drag into all of those tanks. Going to be able to take them down. So many units just pouring out across the map. And again, these bases being broken by Soulkey. He's managed to keep a couple of Lings over there to keep the mech army busy while the rest of his Lings tear everything up. And with the queens back at full energy, again, it's time to go and kill all of these tanks, win the game. There is nothing that Last can do. This is absolutely the most absurdly insane game I've ever seen from a Zerg player.